Hi everyone, Ali Akbarian, your resident road safety expert, back again for another Q&A. Thank you very much for sending in those questions. We love them. And as I always say, with my trusty subscribe pillow, please hit the button that looks a bit like this down there somewhere, and please help us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. We're almost there, so we'd love your support around that. And let's get on to today's video. So today's video, why I'm sitting in here in our transporter van with this seatbelt setup, is all around the occupants with a seatbelt in the wheelchair at the back. So basically what we have, and this is not the most ideal setup demonstration because normally you want the seatbelt to be sitting up here, but this is set up for a smaller occupant for demo purposes. But anyway, the question that we've had is my client keeps removing this, pulling this out and making their seatbelt loose or putting it over their shoulder, and the only reason why they're doing that is because they're able to pull this loose. And they've asked, is there any way that I can kind of secure this belt, so they don't do that? So there actually is, and what they've suggested actually is, can they use this particular clip to help them? So this particular clip is called an Exactus locking clip. There's all different types of seatbelt locking clips on the market, gated buckles, Infosecure red clip. So there's a few different ones on the market. And if you come around and have a look here, what they're talking about is, if you see the seatbelt, it sort of comes up through here like that. When I pull it, comes up through this ring. So what we're wanting to do is put this clip in behind, just behind the ring, in the right location, so then now I can't pull it, right? And so I can't take it off I can't actually get under there and pull it off my chest, right? So is this okay to use, and is it okay to do? In this particular case, yes it is, because you're not affecting the normal operation of the belt. So in this case, I would, use your imagination, the belt would be somewhere up here, if it was correctly installed, so that's where it would be. And as long as it's gonna not affect that operation and not affect it from locking and actually working in the way it's supposed to, then something like that is okay to use. It's commonly used on the market, but the one thing you need to understand though is that it's not an easy fix, because you've got to kind of put it on there every time you fit the person. Because if you move your wheelchair a little bit further forward or a little bit further back, or it's tied in a slightly different way, or something slightly different, or you've just undone the seatbelt, this thing also, with heat exposure, can slide a little bit, can expand a little bit, so it's not always going to be the same. So the procedure of fitting it is, every time I get my occupant in there, I set this up correctly, and then make sure it's all correctly set up, and then the last thing I do is I open this up and I click it on, right? So I do not want to have that permanently sitting there at all times. It needs to be fitted every time specifically for the occupant, even if it's the same one, because the lock can change through each transport. And then this stops you from hitting it, stops you from being able to pull it forward and get out of it, and helps a lot. So hopefully that helps with that question. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button down there, help us get to that 1,000 subscribers, and thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.